Hi, everyone. We have some new words for you today. Let's see what are these new words and how we can use them, right? So our first word for today is explicit. Communicated directly in a clear and exact way is called being explicit. If you are communicating what you are feeling, if you're communicating your ideas or anything that you want to communicate in a very direct, clear, and exact manner, then we call it explicit, right? I gave them explicit directions on how to get here. That means I gave them clear, exact directions as to how to reach this place. How can they not find this place, right? So that is called explicit. I wasn't aware that I would be paying. You didn't make it explicit, right? Like, I didn't know I was supposed to pay for this. You should have said this clearly. You didn't make it explicit. She was explicit about what she thought was wrong with the plans. This person had some comments to give, some feedback about the plans, and she did not keep anything to herself. She clearly, directly, in a very exact manner, explained what she wanted to say, right? So, explicit, communicating things in a clear, direct, exact, right? That is explicit. Okay. Let's see what is our next. Exposition. Now, exposition means a comprehensive description and explanation of an idea or theory. If you have an idea, a theory, anything that you are supposed to explain, and you have given a very understandable, in-depth description of that thing, we say it's an exposition. John gave a very exposition of the facts. Like John explained the facts in much depth. Okay. He was awarded the gold medal for excellence at the Paris Exposition. Paris Exposition, an exposition is like also could be a place where, like, not a place, like it's a meeting where people were all describing, explaining their ideas or theories comprehensive. It purports to be an exposition of Catholic social teaching, right? So that means someone who is comprehensively describing or explaining Catholic social teachings, right, is an exposition of that teaching, right? So exposition means a comprehensive description and explanation of an idea or theory, right? This place could be an exposition, right? People can be gathered here to maybe give or listen to some comprehensive descriptions of ideas or theories by certain people. Extant. Now, this means used to refer to something very old and that is still existing. It's not extinct. Like when you want to say that something which is quite old but still exists in this world, you say extant, or something that is not extinct. So you can remember it from the word extinct, extant, right? A limited number of documents from the period are still extant, right? This approach offers solutions to extant lingual science problems. Now, if there are certain documents, right, but only a limited number of those documents from some olden period, they are still existing. So I can say they are still extant. These are no drawings extant from, there are no drawings extant from this time, right? That means there are no drawings that still exist in this period belonging to some other period. Like there are no drawings from any other period in this time. Okay. All right. Extraneous. Extraneous means not directly connected. Or you can say coming from outside, or you can say foreign. Extraneous, like we say, no, extraterrestrial, right? Extracurricular. It means something which is from outside, right? Like extracurricular other than the curriculum, right? Extraterrestrial other than our like our area, our land, right? Not directly connected to us, you can say. So anything that's coming from outside or is foreign or is not directly connected to us is extraneous. For example, these questions are extraneous to the issue being discussed. Whatever we are discussing right now, these questions are not connected anyhow. Sometimes questions in your exams, they come from out of your syllabus, right? We say, no, this question is out of syllabus. So that means those questions are extraneous. Okay. Similarly, these questions, some questions that some person might be asking, it seems that these questions are not connected anyhow to the topic which was being discussed. I can choose to ignore these extraneous thoughts. I can choose to ignore these foreign thoughts, right? These thoughts which are not directly connected. Simple websites don't have extraneous information. Simple websites do not have any information from outside. They just have, normal information. They don't have anything extra, right? Also, you can see this one birdie so away from the others, right? Seems like he's foreign. So extraneous, not directly connected, coming from outside, or something that's foreign. Our next word, extravagance. Now, extravagance means a behavior in which you spend more money than you need to, right? For example, we say, no, don't spend extravagantly. That means don't spend more than you need to spend. Don't spend lavishly, right? So you can use it like this. I think she was shocked by my extravagance. Like she was shocked by my behavior of spending more money than I need to. In those days, a second car seemed like a needless extravagance. Buying a second car in olden times seemed like, you're just wasting more money than you should. His extravagance explains why he's always in debt. Some people spend so much even when they don't have that kind of money, right? So if you're spending more than you need to, you can also land in debt, right? So extravagance, a behavior in which you spend more money than you need to. Maybe like this girl, she's wearing such extravagant clothes, right? Seems like these clothes must have been really expensive. Okay. Fastidious. That's a cute cat. It means very attentive to or concerned about accuracy and detail. You must have met certain people in your life who are very concerned about the minute details. They pay attention to details, they pay attention to accuracy, and they just cannot let something pass. They're like, I want this perfect. Such people can be called as fastidious. A cat is a fastidious animal that washes itself frequently. That means a cat is someone who's concerned about itself. So I can call a cat as a fastidious animal. This restaurant offers elaborate food and fastidious service, a service that pays attention to the customers, is concerned about accuracy, detail of their food, of their services, right, of the ambience. So it's a fastidious service. He is very fastidious about how a suitcase should be packed. He's very attentive about the details of how a suitcase should be packed. Some people just throw their stuff in the suitcase. Some people want to pack it properly, right? They want to fold every cloth. They want to put things in separate bags, right? So you can say such a person who is being so detailed, is giving precise attention to accuracy, can be called as a fastidious person. Okay. Although it sounds like someone is doing things in a fast manner, but fastidious actually means being very concerned about accuracy and detail. Feckless. Now, feckless means weak or incompetent. You can also say ineffective or someone who's lacking determination, right? If you are weak, if you are incompetent to complete a certain work, or maybe some work that you are doing is ineffective, is not giving results, or there is a person who lacks determination and just is just doing things for the sake of it. Such people can be called as feckless. So it is an adjective. You can see this person here seems like he's lost all determination to work. Nothing that he'll do would have any effect on the work. He seems incompetent. So he's feckless. He was portrayed as a feckless drunk. That means he was projected, he was made to look like a feckless, a weak, incompetent drunk. That is a clear case of the reckless taking the feckless for a drive, right? So that means this case is clearly showing that a reckless person took a feckless person for a ride, okay? So a reckless person who's careless took a feckless person, a person who's incompetent, weak, for a ride. With respect, that is a feckless approach to the problem, right? So someone is like trying to give their opinion with respect, and they're saying that is an ineffective approach to the problem. This approach is not going to serve us any good. It's a feckless approach, right? So feckless, weak or incompetent. You can say ineffective, lacking determination, just like this man here. Yeah. All right. Let's see our next word. Feeble. Must have come across this word. Feeble. It means weak and without energy. Now, feckless means you are weak and incompetent. You are weak in such a sense that you are not able to do your work because of your incompetency, not because you do not have energy. Feeble means someone who is without energy, someone who is weak, someone who does not have energy, strength, or power to do anything, like old people, right? They become feeble. Mr. John was a feeble, helpless old man. The little lamp gave only a feeble light, weak light. Like the light was not very vibrant. It was dull light. All right. It was not able to lighten up the whole room. So if the light was feeble, that means it was weak. She made a feeble effort to smile, then started crying again. That means this person made an effort to smile, but this effort was without any energy. She did not put in any energy at all to smile, and then she started crying again. So feeble means weak or without energy, strength, or power, right? That is feeble. Fester. Fester means to become painful and infected. You can also say something became septic or pus formed in that area, right? So you must have seen sometimes when we tear on the skin near our nail beds, it becomes festered, right? So if the wound began to fester, that means the wound started accumulating pus in it, right? It became painful, infected, and led to the formation of pus. So the wound began to fester. The beaches are clean where once they festered with fish cuts and flies, right? That means the beaches are clean now, but at one time, these beaches, they were infected with fish cuts and flies. So they were not really infected. We are saying the word infected because the fish cuts and flies were causing infections. Do not let it lie festering under the bandage of polite diplomacy. You can also use the word festering to say that don't let something become painful or more infected in a metaphorical sense. For example, don't let this conversation, fester. That means become more painful. You should talk this out. And don't let it lie festering under bandage. That means don't let this conversation go worse, right? Painful, more, more dreadful. So you can say, don't make the conversation dreadful, then it is already by applying a bandage of polite diplomacy. Bandage, you're trying to cover that conversation with polite diplomacy. So fester means to become painful and infected, become septic, or forming pus in that area is fester. Fickle. I'm very fickle. Fickle means someone who is likely to change their opinion suddenly without a good reason. Some people are not fixated on what they want to do, what decision they are trying to make. They quickly change their opinions and without any reason. So you can call such a person as fickle-minded, right? Teenagers are fickle-minded and switch brands frequently. The art market is as fickle and hard to predict as any. That means there can be instant changes in the art market and there won't be any good reason for that change. The weather here is notoriously fickle. That means the weather here can change any moment. Suddenly, you won't even know when, right? So fickle, something that's likely to change it's someone, or maybe the weather, maybe the market. When it's likely to change its opinions suddenly without a good reason, we say it's fickle. Okay? All right, guys, time to revise. Fickle means likely to change your opinions suddenly without a good reason. For example, teenagers do that a lot. They change their opinions suddenly and without a good reason. One point of time, they're like, I want this. And the other point, no, I don't want this. I want that. Right? So this is called being fickle. Fester. Fester means to become painful and infected, or to become septic, or you can say pus formed in that area. Wounds can fester. That means wounds can become painful and infected, and pus can form in it, right? If you are festering a conversation, that means you are allowing a conversation to just, not be solved, not solve any problem that was there in the conversation. You're just allowing it to be there and you are festering it. You are causing it to get infected. Infected here, you can't infect a conversation. In fact, here is a metaphorical way of saying worsening the conversation, right? Feeble means weak and without energy, strength, or power. If someone is feeble, that means they do not have the energy, strength, or power to do anything, right? Like old people are feeble. Feckless. Feckless also means weak, but not in the strength weak. Like you're not losing strength in feckless. You are just incompetent to complete your work, right? You're a weak person. That means you are a person who is weak in terms of accomplishing things. Or you can say feckless is ineffective or lacking determination. Someone who is a feckless person, that means they do not really have any efficiency to work or they lack the determination. Fastidious. Fastidious means a person who pays close attention to details and is concerned about accuracy, right? For example, there is a restaurant that offers elaborate food and fastidious service. That means the service pays extreme attention to details and they do not let their customers go disappointed. Right? Extravagance. Extravagance is a behavior in which you spend more than you need to, right? So if someone has someone is extravagantly spending, or buying a second car used to be an extravagance. That means buying a second car was an act of spending more money than you need to, right? So extravagance. Extraneous, something that is not directly connected or is coming from outside, like a foreign object, right? So you can say, the questions are extraneous to the issue being discussed. That means the questions you're asking, they're not really connected to the issue that we are discussing. You're asking something totally from outside. This is not concerning what we are trying to talk about. So that is extraneous. Extant, it means something that that is very old, but it still exists in our time, right? For example, you can talk about certain documents from, let's say, 16th century. If some documents are still existing in our century, in the 21st century, we'll say these documents are extant, right? That means although they belong to the olden times, but they still exist. Right? They're not extinct yet. Exposition. Exposition means a comprehensive description and explanation of an idea or theory. If you are describing or explaining an idea or theory very comprehensively, what are you doing? You're giving an exposition, right? Explicit. Explicit means you are communicating something directly and in a clear, exact way. All right. You are keeping it crisp and clear. No, indirect conversations in between. If I am giving you explicit directions, that means I am communicating the direction to you clearly and in an exact manner. You should not be facing any problems thereafter, right? So that is explicit. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. See you soon.